Hello, and welcome back to Make It Stick. We got 2 flashcards due today. What do we got? What are the 9 sections and 9 subsections of Chapter 4 Embrace Difficulties? Well, if we can do a little better than yesterday, that'd be great. How learning occurs. Encoding, consolidation, and retrieval. Extended learning, updating retrieval cues. Easier isn't better. How effort helps. Creating mental models, reconsolidating memories, improving judgment. Something about transfer, maybe? No. Short-term, long-term? No. I don't know. Let's keep going though. This is way better than yesterday so far. An example of generative learning. Undesirable difficulties, the takeaway. All right. Good through 1 through 4. Reconsolidating memories, creating mental models, broadening mastery, fostering conceptual learning, improving versatility, priming the mind for learning. Okay. Other learning strategies that incorporate desirable difficulties, failure and the myth of errorless learning. An example of generative learning, undesirable difficulties, the takeaway. All right, bad again, but better than yesterday. What are the 5 sections of Chapter 5 avoid illusions of knowing? The first one's escaping me. The second one is illusions and memory distortions. Unskilled and unaware of it. Tools and habits for improving judgment. What are we missing? We're missing 2 of the 5. The 2 systems of knowing. Okay. Mental models is 3. Okay. What are the 5 sections of Chapter 5 avoid illusions of knowing? The 2 systems of knowing. Illusions and memory distortions. Mental models. Unskilled and unaware of it. Tools and habits for improving judgment, for calibrating your judgment. Say good. Okay. So what did we read about yesterday? Okay. We're into the final section of Avoid Illusions of Knowing, Chapter 5. And we read about, I believe we read 4 ways for better calibrating, tools and habits for better calibrating your judgment. What are they? Well, the first one is one that's been repeated throughout this book for so many different reasons, for so many different benefits. Is the most effective learning strategy. It is testing/retrieval. Okay? As part of this habit/tool, be wary of the momentary gains that come from mass practice. And also, if you really need to learn something, do not prematurely. People tend to prematurely take something out of the testing system because they think they know it. But if you really need to know it, you need to keep testing it just keep spacing it more and more and more. But you never really stop practicing it or testing it, or else eventually you will forget it, unfortunately. Second tool or habit for improving judgment, calibrating your judgment. This is an instructional method called peer instruction. Peer instruction, something along those lines. Peer something. I think peer instruction. Basically, it's basically in a classroom. The student or the teacher will present a question or problem, and then the students individually will have about a minute or 2 to think through it on their own, and then they'll go into small groups, and they'll try to, as a small group, come to a consensus of what they think their answer is. And so this helps to better understand other people's perspective, better flesh out your own, get rid of the extraneous details and just get down to the core of what really is the answer. Okay, and you're calibrating your judgment through other people really putting their inputs, especially on your opinion and hearing other people's opinions or thoughts. Okay. All right. Number 3, be aware of the cues in which you are using to basically judge your learning. So are you learning or not? How are you judging that? Feelings of fluency and familiarity are not reliable signs of mastery of the material, as we've learned throughout this book. So yeah, really again, why testing and retrieval are so valuable, because it tells you if you got it right or wrong. We kind of thought about and elaborated on how I'm doing this, and it's hard to do with your own book when there's no exams, but I'm using ChatGPT to give me exams. I'm creating flashcards. I'm also retrieving the second day, which really isn't that meaningful in the long term, but it can be. It's a test. But really, we're only going to know in the end, months after I'm done reading this book. Will I still be able to pull out key details? Will I still be able to summarize chapters or summarize the book and elaborate and explain in my own words fluently the meaning of the concepts and key concepts? We'll see. It's an experiment. We'll only know in the end, I guess. But I think this is an effective way to read a book. Who knows? There might be way more effective ways. Definitely. And then the 4th thing was, tool habit was, what was this? What would this be? This is basically corrective feedback / peer feedback. Yep. This is great as well. It's really about, if you look at it, it's about getting external signals of how you're doing from other people and from tests and tests really. All right. There we go. Now we are caught up, and I will continue reading, and I'll be back to recall in a bit. Well, there we are, guys. We finished reading Chapter 5, Avoid Illusions Tonight. What was this final section about in the tools and habits for calibrating your judgment? First, we've got apprenticeships, basically learning from someone experienced. Mentorships, apprenticeships, pretty cool. I like it. It's a historical one. It makes sense. Number 2, or part of that is also teams of people with different but complementary experience, so they can correct them on, one person can correct you on something like this that's in their realm of knowledge, whereas you can correct them and someone else can correct you on something else. So you guys are all like checking each other. Next, we got simulations and simulators. I love these simulations. They're awesome. But they do have some potential downsides because they're not exactly reality. Like the example given was cops taking guns, like hitting the wrist, taking the gun out, like disarming someone. And then they pass it back and do it again, pass it back through repetition. And then one time in a field, like the guy actually gave the gun back after he took it because it's like drilled into him. But he got it back. But then 7, that leads to 7. Sometimes the best experience is the mistakes you make in the field, assuming you survive, but it's also assuming that you're open to feedback. That's that. The chapter really, that section was really about So the tools and habits for calibrating judgment, that was really 7 practical ways to better improve the accuracy of your judgment about your own really performance. Dude, it's so loud. I'm sorry, but it's just as annoying for me. What was this chapter then about? One sentence. Can we wrap it up with a sentence? What was this chapter about? Well, we've got the brain is susceptible to illusions and perceptions and biases and heuristics. Heuristics, not really. So the brain is susceptible to illusions and biases. Memory distortions, and better calibrating an accurate, objective assessment of our own skills and knowledge and own weaknesses is extremely important for learning. I think that's good. The brain is susceptible to biases, illusions, memory distortions, and improving calibrating our judgment, that is, and developing, I'll just say calibrating our understanding of our objective skills, knowledge, and weaknesses. Knowledge and weaknesses. It is critical. It is very important. Very important for learning for learning. Whew. All right. We had no questions that I wrote down in this chapter. So we're gonna just start with the ChatGPT quiz. Only got about 90 seconds left. So okay, let's just get ChatGPT quiz loaded, and we'll call it a day. Won't have any time to answer them, but okay. All right, thank you. Okay, let's go ahead and search for, can we find chapter 4? What the heck? Embrace difficulties. Check it out. So we're gonna take the same prompt. Hello, I just completed chapter 5 from Make It Stick. Avoid illusions. Let's do an exam over the chapter. Test my knowledge, reinforce learning, and discover any weaknesses. Let's start a new chat. Hello, switch 4 to 5. Avoid illusions of knowing. Cool. There we go. And so apparently we've got 12 questions. Tomorrow we'll begin this. Maybe even finish it. I don't know, probably, maybe not. We'll see. But if we do, guys, we'll be on chapter 5 or 6 really soon here, which is Get Beyond Learning Styles. Dang. Can you believe it? We're over halfway done. We're into the third to last chapter. Crazy. Is IQ mutable? Wow, I can't wait for that. That's going to be in the next chapter, to increase your abilities. All right, Get Beyond Learning Styles. Here we go. Whoa, this chapter looks extremely short. We've got one section. Holy cow, one monster section. The second section. Third section. Fourth section. Fifth section. Sixth section. So only 6. Bigger than this chapter, I guess, as far as sections go. But that's it for today. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. See ya.